IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative.
Yes, Cock and Bull live from the town of Alibaug. Hope it never becomes a city. Technically, we're not even in Alibaug. I don't know where we are. It's 15-20 minutes from the sea area, whatever that's called, and about 2.5 hours from Mumbai, whatever that's called. And let me tell you, I reached here in 2 hours, 27 minutes on Republic Day, which is a world record. It normally takes closer to 3 hours. Of course, nothing's left of my Honda. Please keep in mind, if you have Japanese technology, don't drive on Indian roads outside the main cities. It's impossible. In some cities, it's impossible in the city as well. It's too low. And all my organs have been misplaced. My liver and kidneys have exchanged positions. What's happened to my manhood, I can't tell you. But that, of course, is also due to genetics. Now, I want to discuss one thing which is absolutely true before I bring in the boys. And that is, and I think we should confess, I hope Silverie and Amit confess more. They stop confessing, telling home truth, so to speak. I spoke to my dentist. We had a heart-to-heart. I'm now 50 years old. And my dentist said very clearly that brushing is not for me. Now, hold on. That sounds ridiculous, but he explained. He said, some people are just too rough. And what happens is you just destroy the enamel because of your rough technique of, which I am. I can't deny it, So I'm jumpy here as well. And that's 50 years or 48 years of cleaning your teeth. So he said, you just got to stop that. Stick with gargling and occasionally, use the floss if you can. And if you can't, then just very lightly brush your teeth from time to time. He's given me blanket permission. I am retiring my toothbrush and toothpaste. It's over. It's over. That's one chore off my back. I can't tell you. Next is shaving. Once these 2-3 things go, I'm going to get about 10 minutes back of my life every day. I'm so grateful. God bless this lovely dentist. So remember, everything is not the way it seems. We've got to start challenging things. Whether it's COVID or anything else, it's not the way it seems sometimes. Look at it from different angles.
You're the people pleaser, right?
Oh, yes.
Or then desperately seeking the one? Oh, wait, you're the one who doesn't think they're ever good enough.
Oh.
So much drama. And for what? Is it doing you any good? Listen to me. I'm Chetna, your favorite positive action coach. Yes, I'm the one who has been dropping all those truth bombs on every episode.
Oh, no.
And it's time you learn to say no to drama. That's also what my podcast is called. And a new episode is out every Monday and Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, as well as all major podcasting platforms.
Let's bring in the boys to do that. Here's Silverie, the legend from Powai, and Amit, who's been missing for a little while, but he's busy making us money.
No, I missed one episode, dude. I missed one appearance where I listen, and again, not to throw the other guy on the bus, but he has been asked repeatedly, block the shit on my calendar if you're supposed to do it. And he did not do it, and I had already said stuff.
Okay, this other guy is who? Silverie.
Well, I mean, like, there are other guys. Well, so I mean, like, Silverie would be one of those guys, but then Vinay would be one of those guys.
Amit,
Rishi would be one of those guys.
The thing is,
you sound like your namesake. You've got this coterie of people who do everything for you, and heads will roll.
No, but see, again, dude, Cyrus, I don't talk to you about what time we're going to do this recording, right? Antariksh or Vinay, one of them is going to coordinate that time with you. So I thought we had Monday morning at 9, so Monday morning at 10, so I had blocked 10 to 11 for this, and then in the evening I had free, so then I got somebody else.
This damn patch is on. I have to go Monday morning and meet the doctor.
So till Feb, no,
now we do only sex jokes.
Now we know till Feb.
That's the problem we're having.
So,
anyway,
but then it would have been easy.
There's a rumor. I mean, there's a rumor. Forget all this.
Okay.
This is normal. This logistical error can happen from time to time. The rumor is not that. We forgive logistical errors. The rumor is that Amit Doshi has tasted blood. His voiceover has hit the charts. And people are calling up and asking him to do all kinds of things. And so time spent in your freelance activity as the voice of New India is causing us to lose you as the voice of this show. Now, how do you react to the charges?
I would react to that charge by saying that I have yet to see that money come in from anybody who wants me to do voiceovers outside of IVM. So, I mean, if that
Where are
money
your
comes
boys
in, yeah.
now? Why are they looking after this part of the business? Boys, come on, figure that
Yes,
out.
I know. Get me additional voiceover work to do as a freelancer, and I'll do that. But no,
Yeah.
it was it really was. We had somebody scheduled to come in that day in the afternoon, right? And basically they asked me what time should I come, and I looked at the calendar and I said, okay, I'm free after 5:30, right? And so they came at 5:30, and then you can't I can't then
You
call them on
can't.
Sunday evening and say, okay,
Yeah.
hey, let's cancel tomorrow at 5:30.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, we lost
And
Cyrus.
we lost Cyrus. Okay.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
No worries.
I agree with you totally. You can't wear too many hats. It's too. Hello.
Hey,
Yeah,
yes, we can hear.
yeah. You're back. You're back. You're back. Kind of
Kind
back.
of
Sort
back,
of back.
Cyrus.
Not back.
Yeah.
I'm
Man,
back.
Alibaug and
Okay,
his
now guys,
Alibaug is
that's why we give the Alibaug heads up for those who are watching this live. It may be cleaned up,
Yeah.
so it'll make no sense later. But for God's sake, you have to bear with us. It's live. This is a way for you to stay in touch with your roots. We're growing too fast as a country, so you have to be reminded that yes, we're still a third world principality at points as well. So this is, I think, a good lesson. It's purposely done by us, Amit and Silverie. We purposely do this from time to time to test the waters,
Yeah.
so to speak. A quick word before we start, which is hand to God. True story about the dentist and the teeth. Okay,
Huh.
Apparently enamel gets eroded from rough brushing, and as the years go by, do the maths on that. If you're a slightly frenetic brusher, and then it becomes very dangerous because that's your guard. Once you have the enamel gone, you have no guard because now we're thinking of losing teeth. When we reach my decade, it's the losing teeth phenomenon starting. So that's far more important than the other smaller areas as a young person that you had in terms of teeth decay. So let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if this is the issue, brushing has to go. You got no option. It's a bit like diabetes. Carbohydrates have to go. It's like that. There's nothing you can do. I'm sorry about it. But yeah. So
Okay. Once again, we've lost Cyrus, I think.
thank God for that. No guests in the studio yet because that might be. Hello?
We lost you.
Yes, Cyrus.
Yeah, we completely lost
Cyrus,
you.
it's on and off.
Was it me or was it you?
It was you. It was all you. Listen, Antariksh and me.
Today it's gonna be you.
Is always going to be you. Assume it's you.
Today at least.
What a show we have in store. We've not even really started and we've lost us twice already. This is going to be great. You don't need topics. The whole show will be, where are you? Are you there? Can you hear me? Am I back? That's it. The 5G tech coming to Alibaug very soon. Pradeep, you're just teasing us. We still
But
need to
this
get
is
our
very,
landlines connected.
very
here.
sad, no? Very sad, right? We pay all this money for good Wi-Fi connections and trying to make sure everything is fine, and still we have to worry about Wi-Fi, which is so frustrating.
Say, Antariksh, you use this word, all this money. Just say, we pay money. That applies to
Yeah.
Cyrus. When you use all this, you're implying large amounts.
You're saying you bought the cheapest plan possible.
101%.
I can totally say that. Yeah.
One second. Now, listen, again. Let me confess here. This is Aisha's territory. I don't even know what they paid or didn't pay. Okay? And yes, true, she has Kachi blood. And yes, true, she counts things and all that. But I would be a little surprised if she went for the absolute bottom of the barrel. The problem is, I'm told this because we're very much in the interior, so it's very difficult. The wiring, apparently, if you're closer to the main area, you get better reception. The main streets or the main city-ish area, what have you. So where we are the country bumpkins. This is the excuse we've been told. Now, I don't know, but we're getting boosters now.
It's coming and going, right? Right now, it's really good.
Yeah. So
So-
don't move,
They
Cyrus.
tease you. They tease you. It's like the reports in Mumbai at the moment. Are you positive? Are you negative? They tease you. It's negative, then it's positive. then it's
Oh,
negative.
numbers are going down. Numbers are going back up. Numbers are going down
Guys,
again.
have you been following this? It's hilarious. How many people have got false reports either way? And then they switch in a bit.
Yep, absolutely.
And now some doctors gone on record to say that it's very possible that it could be COVID, but it doesn't show up. Now, what the hell does that mean? That's the end of civilization then. What does that
No,
mean?
but then testing is useless at that point, right? If it looks
Yeah.
like you have COVID and then it doesn't show up, then testing
Look,
is
I've been
useless.
coughing for the last month on and off, here and there. And whenever I do, I've been making these jokes about, sorry guys, COVID, whoever I'm with, etc. Now I'm worried, maybe I should stay off the gag for a little while. This is like ridiculous. Really. Yeah.
Would you feel a little sad if this entire COVID blew over and you never got it?
Yeah, you never know. Looking back in perspective is like you missed a chance to feel the pain and angst
Kind
of
of,
other people
right?
in
Like
that
it
sense.
feels like
yeah.
I didn't get that experience.
Without being
I didn't get the
insensitive.
full COVID experience that was promised to me. I didn't
Yeah,
did not
yeah.
get
No,
to see that.
that's true.
Yeah.
So, Antariksh, you haven't tested positive yet, right?
Not yet. I felt sick last week, but it could have been a false negative now.
Listen,
that I'm
every
feeling
time,
good.
Silverie, every time you bunk and don't go to Amit's proper studio office, don't give us this, I felt I had COVID. Because I felt I had
I was
COVID
sick.
goes on for
I
3
had
years
fever.
of not going to office.
I had fever. I had severe body ache.
Huh?
I like severe body ache. So those are symptoms, right? Like
You're too young to have body
having
ache.
fever. So that's what
Seriously, you
I
don't have
think I
body
had
ache.
COVID. That's what I was saying, but it showed up as negative. So what have
You
I done?
sounded like me. It doesn't make any sense. These are not issues for 28. Nobody at 28, nobody turns out as a man body ache. That's a 50-year-old person's problem. This is all bull. He's having us on, Amit. You put
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
sure,
sensor
sure.
on this
That's
boy.
it.
I would
Correct.
not be
Get one of these
surprised.
tags, put a sensor on him so you
Sure,
know
sure.
where he is at all times. I'm telling you, he's at some bloody wild disco in Gurgaon, and you guys think that, oh God, he's not well, body ache, my foot. I tell you.
Yeah.
But
No,
good
but
point, little insensitive, but good point. What do you think? If we didn't get it, and it all ends after almost a 3-year debacle of sorts,
Yeah.
we were the few who didn't sort of get it. So we don't have that first-hand experience of having it.
yeah. Well, so I mean, like,
Or would we be the golden boys? Would we be considered,
It-
oh man, wow, we put on a pedestal, you did not get it?
given the shit that people went through, right, when they got it, and I mean, like, how lousy a time. So, I mean, like, listen, we hear in this third Omicron wave, a lot of people are not really symptomatic and didn't really have an issue,
Yeah.
right? But in the first two waves, people who got it, I mean, like, they were miserable, right? I mean, like, pain, like, just like 20 days locked up and
Hey
shit.
guys, Amit, you guys are missing a very important point here, which is when it first started, the fear factor was unbearable because it was more the unknown, etc., etc. There's no question, second, third, fourth wave, even when you're dealing with it more rationally. The people around, the building people, the municipality, everybody's a little more rational.
Yeah.
So I think whoever got in that first wave, their psychological trauma will be far greater than anybody else's. So we have to be jealous of them, the first batch who graduated with COVID.
Psychological, true, but even like just like the actual the symptoms and the suffering, right? I know people, like, I know multiple people who were in the hospital. I know people who are like still suffering from, I guess, that quote unquote long COVID type stuff, right? Still don't have energy. So I mean, like, it's
Hey, what is that? Just segue there for a second. I'm really confused about that.
huh
A pal of mine who's had it about in October or something, I think,
huh
says he still has residual effects,
yeah
weakness, tiredness,
Yeah.
body ache, but he's 49 years old.
yeah
That is what is the most scary part.
That worries me.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
exactly.
maybe 6 months on. Yeah, he should
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
callback like they have in drugs, substance abuse. You can't
Yeah.
get a callback years later, months later. That's scary.
no, but
If it's true, you think it's true?
no, 100% is true. I know people who like 6 months later still couldn't taste. Right? I mean, like, they were mostly recovered. They were fine. I know people who it took them a long time to get back the pre-COVID stamina. Right? Like, I mean, like, there's a very easy to kind of see. People have morning exercise routines, right? And like, how much stamina you have and how much effort it takes to do those morning exercise routines. After COVID, if it takes you like 3 months to get back to normal and you're still not feeling normal, that means there's something weird going on, right?
Okay, it's also apparently the mental fatigue issue, which is worse in the sense that you tell yourself that you're feeling more fatigued. So the challenge of the day from the beginning, you're on the back foot. When you get up, you're on the back foot. It's a little different from just being tired physically, like young 28-year-olds who have body ache. So you're actually psyched out by that. I don't know if it's really true, but coming back to the taste thing, I think that's a great idea though. If I want to give up meat, if I could get that taste thing done, so once I don't taste meat anymore, I can become veg. I'm all good. What does it make then? I've got no taste left, right? So I'm eating to live now. This is a great way to market it.
Agreed. I think it would be amazing, right? If you could do that, right? If you can figure out.
We've got to see the positives, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone listening, see the positives. Amit has suddenly lost interest in the show and is playing some video game. He's back at Wonderworld Agency Road.
What are you talking about?
Put his 50 paisa coin. Hey, have you seen a 50 paisa coin in your? Have you seen a 25 paisa coin in your life, Silverie?
25 paisa? No, 50 paisa I have. 25 paisa I don't
You've never
think I
seen a
have.
25 paisa coin? Have you seen a 5 paisa coin or a 10 paisa coin?
That's no way.
No, I've seen 50. 10 paisa I remember. Yes, I've seen 10 paisa. 20 paisa is supposed to be there.
So 20
20
paisa
was also there.
Oh, you see
Yeah, I've
that?
seen 10, 20. I don't remember a 25 though.
So of 25 paisa coin, just really, really small coin, right? That was the Chawani.
It's a small one, yeah.
Charana Chawani.
I don't remember right now.
But the 5 paisa coin was like the square coin, and the 10 paisa coin was the flower coin.
You're making me cry, the nostalgia.
I know.
Imagine we lived in a country where there was a value to 5 paisa. You took out 5 paisa coin, it had something. It went somewhere. It went into someone's palms. 5 paisa. I want to collect them.
For whatever reason, I decided to watch. Yesterday was a holiday. I had not all that much to do, and I decided to watch.
The reason was Republic Day.
I know that, but again, I don't have all that much to do on that particular day. So
Go on.
I decided to watch an old Amitabh Bachchan movie. So I went on to Amazon and started to
Which
see.
one?
Can I guess? Can I guess, Amit?
I already told you the
Give-
answer in the
Yeah,
last
I
meeting.
don't.
Shut up, please.
Which one? Which one? Which one? Let's
Amar
see.
Akbar Anthony.
Amar Akbar Anthony, my
Amar
favorite.
Akbar Anthony. Yes,
Yes.
I.
Amar Akbar
But I didn't
Anthony.
watch the
Oh,
entire movie.
super.
I saw about like an hour or so of it. Right. And
You
then this.
understood the story. You didn't have to go through the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, no, I understood this. So here's the thing, right? It was amazing to me how plot driven every scene of the movie was, because we think of these old movies and we think they're not plotty at all. But this movie, every single scene I saw had something to do with the plot, but the dialogue was awful, like awful,
Hmm.
like beyond awful, right? It's just like, okay, you know what? We need to make Rishi Kapoor come and invite Amitabh Bachchan to go to his Kavali show. So let's put a scene
Yeah.
for that. And then the scene of that is just like one bad joke after the other, right? And I'm just like, wow, how do you kind of like, it was incredible in terms of just like, how they put that together. But the reason I say this, right? Because at the start of that movie, Amitabh Bachchan is the owner of a liquor bar. And as the owner of a
Correct.
liquor bar, somebody comes and breaks up his entire bar, right? And he then at the end of it is like in Amitabh Bachchan style, here is my last bottle, break it, and then give me 780 rupees and 50 paisa. And I'm thinking that's the cost of his whole bar. You can't get a
Hmm.
bottle of alcohol today in
Yeah.
780 rupees and 50 paisa.
Difficult to.
But the lesson that Manmohan Desai,
Manmohan
the
Desai,
lesson that
yes.
you're supposed to learn from the film is that how scrupulously honest Amitabh Bachchan's character Anthony Gonsalves was. He
Yes.
didn't take a paisa extra. It was
No.
exactly 756
Yeah.
or whatever the figure was. It was exactly that.
780 rupees or 50 paise.
There you go.
It really
There you
was
go.
that. It was
Hey, I mean, you think the 5 paisa coin and the 1 and 2, if you can find them, you think they'll have an antique value at some point? I must see if I have some.
too much circulation. It would take a
Really?
it would take a really long time for it to be rare.
So already Silverie's not that young. No
Yeah,
disrespect,
but
no
they're not
offense. But
around anymore, right? We can't see these.
no, they're not around. But from my age group upwards, they
Yeah,
would be in the house, maybe somewhere here and there.
100% in
To
my house
see.
we have. In my house, 100% we
Hmm.
would have all of these coins. I
Correct.
found I found like extremely crisp 1 rupee notes in the house of a couple of years ago, because
There you go.
Wow.
my
You
it
use your
doesn't
Diwali tips. You should tip
no
people in Diwali.
yeah, so it was for Diwali. So my grandmother, okay, she so 1 rupee notes, like 1 rupee notes stopped like way back when, right? I mean, like I think like in the 70s or something like that, they stopped 1 rupee note, right? And my
Yeah.
grandmother, for
No.
whatever reason, she had saved a bunch of these and she willed them out to her kids, right? So my mom got some, my Masi got some, my mama got some, all of them got like crisp 1 rupee notes, so that
Can I be a little cruel? That'd be
yeah,
a really funny ad, no? You're all standing around the bed and everybody, मेरे को 1 रुपया, मेरे को 1 रुपया, तुझको क्या 1 रुपया. That would be quite a story, yeah.
but it's that that old thing, 101 rupees,
The
51
luck, yeah.
rupees,
I know. I knew
501
exactly.
rupees,
When
yeah.
you said 1 rupee, I
Yeah,
knew all
yeah.
of us had it for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because the biggest problem was getting that 1 rupee putting in the lifafa at the last minute. It was a
And,
big
yeah,
headache. So we
and
all,
you didn't want to put the
yeah.
coin inside because it spoiled the show of the
No.
envelope, apparently.
No, and also you didn't give coins generally with the envelope thingy. It's always
Yeah.
notes. But did you guys have this? Silverie probably won't. We had it for taxis and things like that. You never know when you want it. So we had a small jar and everyone kept their pesas in it. The 5
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct,
yeah,
correct, correct. Yeah, yeah. Still,
and that was very,
we
very,
still have.
trust me,
Yeah.
very practical till
Absolutely.
demonetization. That wise decision, which ensured
So
there's no cash in the market because it goes to terrorists. So basically, that stop terrorism. In the meantime, we had that. I missed that jar.
So in college, when I lived in a big house, right? So I lived in a big house with so it was a 5 bedroom house and we were like 12 roommates or something like that, right? And we had like this gigantic bottle. It was a Corona bottle and it was gigantic. It was like probably 4 feet high or something like that. And we used it as a piggy bank. The rule was that if anybody left any kind of change around the house, right? I mean, like in the living room, in the tables, on the coffee table, on this or that, on the TV, next to the kitchen, all of that change went and got into was thrown into the thing. When it got full, we would go and cash it out, and then we would buy beer for everybody. So it was,
Oh,
and we would
that's
cash
good.
it out probably once, but we only cashed it out once. I think we cashed it out I think we moved into the house in September and we cashed it once in like maybe May or April or something like that. But
Okay, so there
whatever.
were 12
Yeah.
of you living in a small house. So you call it
Yes.
America and you live like Indians. Excellent. Super. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like college, no, dude. And I mean, like, so the idea here was that so you have two options in college. You either live a little bit for like anywhere else. You live a little bit further away and you get a
Outside.
bigger place, or you live really close and then you live in a smaller place, right? And I've mostly done big and far, right? But this one semester or this one year, small and close.
I have a question which I think correlates completely to this whole thing. Whenever I've roomed with guys for a long period of time, who gets the use of bathroom first? I always feel it's like a batting order in cricket,
First
early
come, first serve.
morning. Yeah,
First
but
come, first serve.
that
Yeah.
would you like toss for that sort of if people got up at the same time and went around the same time? Because
First come,
that's a
first
big
serve.
one if you're the last guy. If you're the last guy in the loo and there are 3, 4, you're saying 12, and maybe there are only 2 loos in 5 bedrooms, American
Yeah.
style. So I'm looking at that. Those numbers aren't kind. If you're
No, they're not.
end of the line.
So you got to make your time right. You got to go and you got to if you got to you have to first come first serve. That it was a hard rule. First come first serve. It
In
wasn't all
boarding
guys.
school.
It was a co-ed living arrangement, but it was
Wow.
very much still first come first
Silverie,
serve.
I
your
was in boarding
leader
school.
had a good opening to his life. He's
Yeah.
with co-eds and we were over the bathroom.
What?
No,
He
we
must
didn't.
install cameras inside.
No.
No. I mean, we were all
And we're not
respectful
encouraging
people.
that. Please,
No,
if you're
but
listening, do not put
in
cameras in the toilet. It's horrible.
in boarding school, right?
Yeah.
We had a dormitory of 32 people with only 5 washrooms. So you can imagine every morning kya
Six.
hota hai hal. Every morning everyone gets up,
Okay.
everyone else uses the washroom, and it's just a whole.
So how do you
hustle.
manage?
No.
So then you put the first person goes in because first come first serve, as Amit said. After that, we form like a number, like okay, tere baad main, mere baad ye, mere baad wo,
So
like
No,
that.
but who decides who's last then, yeah? If you all come at the same time,
It's first come
more
first
or
serve
less?
again.
First come,
Like last
whoever
come,
picks the
last
number,
come.
whoever
Yeah.
picks the number. In our case, whoever stood in
Yeah.
line. But I think one difference, right, for us at least, it was never as much as a problem. Boarding school, all classes start at the same time. College
Same
people
time,
start
yeah. That's
classes.
Exactly.
what.
Yeah.
College classes in the US it start at whatever time, right? But I never took a class before like 11 o'clock in the morning. So for me, it was not that much of a problem compared to people who had 9 a.m. classes. So
I miss those. Even in Mumbai, I miss that, because when you're in college, the lovely indiscipline of the fact is that you sleep till the time you have to leave. You
yeah,
see, now as you get as an adult, you have a fixed
Yeah.
freaking wake up time and all
wake
that.
up when
They
you
don't have
wake up.
that.
Yeah.
So if it's 7:45 class, you're up at 7 and you rush out by 7:30. If it's a 9:45 class, you get up at 9. When you're rushing 15 minutes, literally. Oh,
Hey, can I take over since you're in Alibaug? You probably don't have like word vocabulary questions. Let me ask you a general knowledge question instead.
today's Thursday.
That's
Oh,
What is
Thursday.
today's
wrong
not
with you
vocab
people?
questions.
There's a
No,
discipline.
Monday.
It's
It's
a
Monday.
Monday question.
We did it on
Oh,
Monday
okay.
with
Okay.
Abbas and Naveen.
But you can ask. You can
Ah.
ask. Go ahead. And what do you mean there's no dictionaries in Alibaug? That's me. that's geographism. Stop the geography.
No, so I saw a video about this and I thought it was really interesting, and so I thought I'd ask this question: how many countries do you think there are with the name Guinea in it?
Papua New Guinea, 1, 2. I think 2.
Would you believe it's 4
Just
plus
2.
1?
What?
4 plus
Yeah,
1.
it's 4 and then 1, which is very close.
What about like making fun of Italians and Italian slang
Could you
slur?
name that?
That's also Guinea. Does that
Well,
count?
so apparently Guinea is a North African slur for South African people, as in like for light-skinned African slur for dark-skinned African folks. And so most of these are countries along the western coast of Africa, right, where the Guinea countries are, I guess, because they've all taken on those names. But
It's
the names
beautiful.
of those, yeah. So
Humanism. And the way he
Papua New Guinea.
compartmentalized people.
There's Papua New Guinea, there's Equatorial Guinea, there's French Guinea, there is Guinea, and then there is Guyana, which is close but different.
Guyana is French Guyana and British Guyana. There's no Guinea.
Uh,
I know
no,
my
there is
cricket,
Guinea.
so you don't come to the West
No,
Indies. Then I start
no,
taking
dude.
over. Where's the Guinea?
French. Okay, yeah. So sorry, French Guyana is,
It's
but
pronounced
again,
more like.
it's more like Guinea. The French Guyana that you're talking about is more like Guinea. It comes from the
Let me do
same
it with my
word, Guinea.
French accent, and then we'll let the accent expert take over. You want to hear the French Guyana? You try. Silverie, how would you do it with the French accent? When you want to say in the French accent, how would you?
You come from Guinea. That's Italian.
You
Sorry.
Italian, you rogue. You're going to cause more trouble in the United Nations. Never take a chair in the
Man, it's
United
all the same. We're all one world. Yeah, it's an Italian in France. That's what I did.
This is Indian racism.
Sorry.
Somewhere in Europe, they have this accent.
I just found this fascinating, though, that there are 4 countries whose name is actually Guinea. I thought this
Hmm.
was insane, right?
Well, when you're spending Saturday night alone and wondering why you're not getting enough dates, think about your conversation. Maybe this is not the
Yes.
most riveting one to have with a girl. Yeah, by the way, did you know there are four Guineas? One, of course,
Uh,
I want to get back on the French Guyana thing. I don't see the Guinea influence there so much. I'm trying to, if anyone on the chat can pronounce it
Oh,
correctly.
okay, yeah. It's spelled somewhat differently, but it is the same. This right? These are basically three countries on the African Panhandle and one country from Indonesia. All of them come from the same thing, and they're all based on naming them after what North African folks, Algerians and Egyptians, used to call darker skinned Africans, which used to be Guinea. And so even the
So
one
these
in
are countries who are named after a racist term, in other words.
essentially,
So where does the guinea pig come from? Which of these countries is the guinea pig from?
that's
Do
a
we
good
know?
question, but it's probably in there
Although
somewhere.
that meaning generally is to do with the person you threw the trial on. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that doesn't have a racist implication, although that's pretty bad anyway. Oh, it's wonderful, the stories of humanity and how
I
bad
know.
we really are. The very country.
It's
Very, very
amazing to
silly.
me, right? Because yeah, no, I mean, like we're basically named countries are being named in like based on this, and I don't know, I was just amazed by it, right? I thought that this was like such a weird thing, which, and I'm more than anything else, I'm amazed the fact that I'm 48 years old and I
Why would
never
they
knew
keep
that there
it
were four
then?
Guinea
When
countries.
you want to
That's
change
what I don't.
Mumbai and Bombay and Chennai and Madras and all
I
that,
don't
which is
know.
honestly not that irritating if you look at it. I mean,
Uh,
okay, so you want to take off the English yoke or something. There's nothing really
Yeah.
directly conflicting with anything. But here you're making a racist comment. You build a foundation on that, and then you continue with that. What if you win the World Cup? Papua New Guinea wins the World Cup. Oh, did you know what it means? I mean, it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
I
Let's give
do
them new
no,
names.
and Papua New Guinea, right? I mean, like in the sense that the reason they named Papua New Guinea that was because the natives over
They
there.
knew who the father was.
No, these are Indonesian natives, right? But they were darker skinned than the rest of the Indonesians, so let's call this New Guinea,
Ooh,
right?
was
That's
that it?
Hmm.
literally that's literally it, man. Or it's
So if you were a racist in those days, it's not even like a sin in any form. You're actually just logically applying your mind to say that,
yeah,
like you describe an animal and say this is the white rhino, as in this is the black rhino. It's purely from a practical point of view. So unbelievable. I hate
yeah,
human beings. I like rhinos. Very few
yeah.
rhinos left.
Well,
You
so
know,
I've been watching. So again, this came to me because I've been watching like a history survey, right? So there's
there
this
was a break in
YouTube.
the NBA, folks. There was no game yesterday, and hence
No,
Amit
no.
went berserk with the Guineas. Okay,
There was a
now
game,
back to
and
you.
Joel Embiid scored 38 points, and the Sixers kicked the New Orleans Pelicans.
Was it necessary, Silverie, to give us a homeschooling on that one? I don't think it was
I
necessary.
mean, you brought it up, Cyrus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Listen, I've been
exactly.
watching a lot of Shaq stuff. Well, Shaq, no, not to do so much with basketball, but his
Uh,
humanity and the things that he's supposed to have done on various streams.
okay.
Very likable person.
Yeah, he's funny. He's hilarious. He's awesome.
Funny, self-deprecating at the right time, very
Yeah.
generous,
Yeah.
and he doesn't ever appear to be arrogant or full of himself or pushing any agenda. He's just supposed to be a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Would you say
Yep.
that's true?
Well, I mean, like that's mostly what you hear. You hear when it comes to Shaq, you hear a lot of two types of stories, right? So, number one story you hear a lot of about is like how he helps all kinds of people out, how he's basically extraordinarily generous, how he's this extremely fun-loving kid, right? He became like a sheriff or something like that. Just you hear all this stuff, right? And the other thing you hear a lot about is his. You hear a lot of his stories with women, right? I mean, like that's something that comes out quite a lot as well.
And
Uh,
that's
I
more
mean, in
Guinea
a
or
sense,
Papua New
like
Guinea.
he's a womanizer kind of.
well, no,
Those
so I
kind of
mean, like
stories.
just that in the sense that just the life that he's led, right? Again, he's been
Hey,
one
but
of the
Amit,
most popular baskdual players in
exactly,
the
Yeah, of course,
world
dude. And
since
he's
exactly.
7'5"
1990.
height or
I
whatever his
mean,
height is.
what?
Yeah,
Unless
Makes sense.
really, there is something wrong with him in that.
no, no,
Adultery aside, because then that goes into morality and all that. But I'm saying if
uh-huh.
he's playing the field and he doesn't justify to anybody else, it's between
Yeah,
him
fair
and the
enough.
various women. So then, that really in the list of crimes in humanity today, Amit Doshi, are we going to hang this guy on that? I
Not
mean,
at all.
really?
I'm not hanging him in any way whatsoever. I'm just telling you which are the two most common stories you hear about him.
Yeah.
The one time where it became like kind of this, right, was when Kobe used his name to get out of that rape accusation that
Rape.
he had. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the time. So apparently
How
in
did he
the
use his name? What is
so
that?
what happened in the interrogation is that when Kobe was being interrogated by the police, right? He said something like, "Oh man, Shaq does this all the time. I can't believe I'm getting caught." In the sense of being not talking about the rape, because Kobe always denied the rape aspect of it. But when it comes to fooling around with with somebody who is
It was consensual according to Kobe.
yeah, so Kobe's always denied the rape, as far as I can tell.
No, but
He
not
didn't.
denied the relation, the physical
No, not
relations.
denied. Not denied the
He
physical
just
relation. Always
that he was.
denied the
Oh,
rape.
okay. Anyway,
He was
now
always.
that's gone with the. We can't answer these questions. Oh yeah, we'll try. No guarantee.
We'll try.
Because
So
we've only
just
done 4 countries. There are 194 countries to go. Each name is more disgusting than the other. The foundation of. Amit is trying not to talk about his.
This is Shaq.
Yeah.
So
Shaq.
basically, that's what the story is, right? That apparently he has a gigantic appendage.
Okay, we can put that
Yeah.
together.
I mean, it
Come on,
makes
come on.
sense.
I mean,
It
I
would be
always
weird if
think
he
if
didn't.
you're 7 foot tall, Silverie, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's not in proportion, wouldn't that be the problem? Wouldn't that be
Absolutely.
the issue?
Yeah, correct.
Because
It
girls
would
will
freak you
talk.
out.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're 7
correct.
foot tall. It's the
Yeah,
reverse.
exactly.
Because that'll be.
Yeah.
Ladies out there, please send in details. Any really tall athlete or superstar who's really not measuring up. Are we doing a formal break, guys?
Yes, we are doing a formal
Yes,
break.
we should.
And here we go.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Mudit Dandwate, CEO and co-founder of Dozy, tells Cyrus how he built his health tech company and survived a crocodile attack. On The Longest Constitution, Priya tells us about the history of the rights of the disabled. This started in the 1970s with the Organization of the Blind. On a show about crypto, Rohan is joined by Kash Danda, who's a founding member at Superteam DAO. They discuss whether Solana is an Ethereum killer as is commonly believed in this space. On Press Decode, Sarah and Vagda discuss the acquittal of Bishop Franco Mulakkal and whether the beautification of Purani Delhi strips it of its charm. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav tells us the surprising story of how money orders, Dehradun, and the transatlantic slave trade are all connected. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. And also remember, you can check out a lot of our stuff on YouTube. Go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube and you'll get a list of all the various channels that we do have. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Can I just plug our 2 shows? I know everything there was sounded really good and lots of interesting podcasts. No, Mudit and Priya. I want to say because
Mudit?
Dandwate, the first.
What we just talked about in the
Dozy.com, I think it was called. Just Dozy.
Dozy, huh?
The app for the health parameters to check that. But talking about the second part of his story, one of the crocodile.
Oh man, we lost Cyrus.
Yeah, I can't hear a word right now at this point.
No, he's stuck. He's stuck.
So while we're waiting for Cyrus, Antariksh, did you know that we're having another live on the IVM podcast channel today?
I did not. What is this live, Amit?
We're doing a live with Ritasha and Ayushi, our favorite, who has been a regular on Cock and Bull. They're doing a live for their 100th episode of our Class Station Adulthood. So if you all are interested in checking that out, you should go over there at 8 o'clock on the IVM podcast channel. Cyrus is back. Cyrus, sorry, we didn't know that while you were gone.
The headphones made a difference?
It made a huge difference because they're not even connected to anything. It's purely headgear. But it just gives me peace of mind because both of you guys have some interesting stuff on your ears, and I thought I'm being left out, so I've kept this. And it's red, by the way, folks. I was just saying, just to plug those 2 episodes that we've done recently, both of them, Mudit's story, his life story, he's a very unassuming guy, but it's just ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, he's like Alexander, he's freaking unbelievable.
So, Amit, I believe you don't know what this is. Mudit is a person who is the founder of Dozy. And basically, he has his origin story basically involves him jumping into a lake to save his dog from a crocodile, and the crocodile taking his arm.
Wait, what?
So he
taking
lost
his
an
arm off.
Yeah.
Amit, you got to hear this. This is
amazing. What a story! And
he separates
while he's injured, right? While he's injured by the crocodile, he saves the dog. All that he's bleeding and all everything. And he says, I made it to the 2 hours away the hospital was.
3 hours.
He had to
3 hours by car.
3 hours away. He had to stay awake in a car on the way to the hospital, and he's saying, while I'm going there, no, I had already designed my bionic arm. I already thought of the dimensions of what and he made his own bionic arm after that.
I mean, subsequently, but the fact that he went himself, it's just a ridiculous story. And no angst against animals, crocodiles, nothing. Huh? This is a great guy, great man. And then Priya's fantastic. We should have her on more often. She's
Priya
just
from
a
the longest constitution.
superb.
Longest constitution.
She's a real advocate of democracy. We need to talk to her more.
Yes, she is.
Because she just
Absolutely.
lets it out correctly.
I did. Believe me, I think she's great too. That's why we do a show with her. The longest
Yeah, that's
constitution.
what.
Please check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah,
No,
we are
yeah.
And this is what I like about us. It's not like we message each other. That's how we informally plug the show. We could have done that, but we didn't. It's beautiful, guys. Really. Rap on the shoulder for that. Well done. All right. So let's get now to the meat of the show.
Yes,
which we
one
never
topic.
ever do.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a very, very interesting topic.
If we're choosing, can we go with the Biden one?
Okay, cool. If you're choosing, we can go to the Biden one. All right, I am just going to share my screen. So basically, Joe Biden had a moment where people are calling him, man, this was the realest moment Joe Biden has ever had. Okay, so they're like kind of complimenting him for it. At least in the like his supporters, at least are the other side is obviously going to say, hey, how can you call someone that what he did? Basically, what happened is I'll show you this. I'm going to share my screen. 1 second, and yeah, here you go. So basically, Biden, it seems, called someone something he shouldn't have.
Oh, maybe he should have.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, this reporter by the name of Peter Doocy, he's the son of Steve Doocy, by the way. Steve Doocy is one of the hosts of Fox and Friends with Brian Kilmeade and one more journalist whose name I'm forgetting right now. And so Peter Doocy asked Biden a question, like shouted a question out saying, "Mr. Biden, what do you think of inflation, about inflation? Will it hurt your chances in the midterms?" Right? And Biden obviously goes, no, we love inflation. Obviously, we want more inflation. Or we're being sarcastic. And he goes, what a stupid son of a bitch this guy is. Okay. And so people are like, wow, that was real. That just, if anything, if any other answer he had given about inflation, right? Or even if he had left it at the sarcastic comment, it would have been misconstrued as, oh, he wants more inflation. Look at this. But because he said this firstly cannot be misconstrued in whatever they say. This news is getting more attention. That question is getting more attention. Oh, Biden is against inflation.
I think it's humanizing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very supportive of the slur.
But no,
it's fine.
But you know what's even funnier? What's even funnier about this is this Peter Doocy guy, has a history apparently of being called stupid and dumb. Because the same thing he asked John McCain a few years back because of this Biden thing. His John McCain incident also went public.
Republican.
Yeah, Republican. He asked
Fox Channel. Son to a Fox Channel icon. So let's that.
But yeah, he is. But John McCain's not. John McCain's not.
John McCain's not. Yeah.
No. What I meant is that you'd think that he would attack the Democrat candidates and Democrat elected officials.
Yeah. So basically, he asked John McCain a question a few years back when John McCain was running for the presidency, and John McCain just went, "Why would you ask such a dumb question? That's a very dumb, stupid question. Why would you do that?" So now people are saying, oh, the bipartisan agreement is that this guy is dumb and stupid. So you can just make fun of him as you want.
Well, he's special. There's no doubt about that. But I'm a big fan of these redundant and stupid questions. I mean, if you want to insult someone, firstly, you're a journalist at a press conference, ask proper questions. You can discuss why the inflation is not coming under control. You can be specific. But what the hell is the point of asking him a stupid question and will it hurt? If there's negativity in the system, obviously, this is a stupid question. It's just pointless. So I don't blame him. And I don't understand why you'd expect them to be more learned about the subject because they're experts on the subject, dealing with the expert on the subject. And there should be a certain intellectual bar when it comes to the question answers. And this is just like me having an interview with somebody. With due respect to all the guests who've come and gone on this show, some will be very tempted. But you know what I'm saying, Amit? Okay, Indian journalists do it all the time. I think you played. I won't take India Today's name because that won't be right. But remember in America, asking questions. There was this girl asking. I can't remember her name, but it was like a regular Priya.
I know what you're talking about. She basically went into She went into the waiting room where some UN official was and kept asking her some stuff.
No, the Indian UN official who was talking there. She went and spoke to her and asked us really stupid questions. Correct. Really. And she got telling off immediately. I'm all for it.
I think the problem happens here, right? That essentially when you ask this kind of a question, right? Like, do you think that do you think that a negative economy is going to hurt you? Right now, the problem over there is twofold, right? So one is that you have only one answer over there, but even to give that answer, right, you're accepting the premise of the question, which is that we have a negative economy, right? And it's a very deliberate question. It's a very deliberate way of creating these questions.
You're just calling out the failure of the person. You're not waiting for an answer. You're basically denouncing the performance. That's it. So what's the point of that question? That's a wasted question.
It's not even denouncing the thing. It's getting somebody to answer a question without questioning the premise of the question. Because if you don't question the premise of the question, you agree that the economy sucks, right?
No, but if you go to the intricacies of that question, I have no problem with it, right? If he goes exactly to why he thinks the inflation has not been brought under control by Biden, maybe this time because of this and this policies and because of this and this happening, then we have a question. Then he can answer. Oh, I went. Oh, this would happen and whatever.
So I wouldn't blame journalists so much completely for that particular aspect of things, right? Because again, think of
journalists.
I'm not pro journalists always, but think about the context in which this guy is asking this question, right? Think about how he's asking this question, where he's asking this question. He's asking this question as part of 40 people asking questions and shouting questions, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have time to. And again, this guy's a and he's a
that's
hack.
Not,
and he's
that's not fair. If you look at the American system, what happens is finally they're given once a decision is made, that they shout out or whatever, but then they actually announce themselves clearly and then ask the question. Generally, it's not as chaotic as some of our South Asian brothers. So I don't think that's totally fair.
It might not be that chaotic, but it's still fairly chaotic, right? And so to ask a well-phrased question, right? I mean, like, Cyrus, think about the questions. Think about how when you're doing an interview, you sit down, you're peaceful, you're engaged with the question that the person is asking you, and the person's answering, and then after that, you're giving a follow-up, and like there's this, right? But if you're doing these same kinds of questions where there are 30 people shouting around you, and okay, fine, you get your pace to make your question, but you're not part of a conversation, right? So your entire goal is to get a question out and get an answer for that question.
Amit, right? I experience this on a daily basis because wherever I go, where there's a cluster of women, they all shout out the same question: "Why are you married?" and start crying and upset. And immediately, it's just chaos ensues. But I just want to take the side of Joe Biden because he needs a little personality. I mean, that's
absolutely.
He definitely needs a little, a rush of blood.
Yeah.
So I think this was good for his career going forward. Because and as Silverie said, I mean, where he was in that situation, this was the best outcome. Because if he had tried to answer it in a fake way, it being a stupid, in my words, redundant term, how would he get out of it? It's a tough one to get out of because you'll start floundering. And as you said, stamped his approval on the questions premise, which is inflation is not under control.
But one of the questions you could also ask, right, is that because you're right, Joe Biden's mostly come up positively from this, right? But do you think he was aware of the fact that he was on mic when he said this, or do you think he was unaware?
Yeah, so I think it was a hot mic, but the mic was right in front of him, and he was at a press conference. So I don't understand how this could have been a hot mic.
Well, he thought he was talking really low. He slipped. There's a big change drop in voice. It looks like it looks like a proper Freudian, not Freudian, but a slip.
Yeah,
it's a slip.
It's interesting because again, it's another.
Nobody wants to abuse. That abuse can always backfire. He wouldn't have. It's not a thought out thing. He could have been funny.
This is a plot point from The West Wing as well, right? That basically Martin Sheen's character at one point in time is asked about an opposition politician, right? And he says something like, "This is a guy with a 22 caliber gun in a 38 caliber world," or something like that, right? Which is like a very deliberate. But he says it like to a journalist once they're after the online interaction is supposed to be. It's a hot mic basically, right? So I mean, like it's a remote television interview, and on a hot mic he says something like this, right? Turns out at the end of the show or at the end of the episode, you find out he did it deliberately because he's like, this gets him to be able to call this guy a dumbass without calling him a dumbass.
When does the Joe Biden episode end? So that we can find out the truth. This art imitating life and life imitating art always drives me nuts because sometimes it's almost perverse when you start believing the possibility of the reverse, of life imitating art. I'm saying because that's just ridiculous. If he comes out well, comes out with his head up after all this, because at least people think this guy's got some. The whole thing is that he was a little below the American standard of personality because they have a high standard. And after Trump, who was so out there, I mean, he was the opposite effect almost. So I think he needed to come up a little bit, to have some sort of even controversy, if you like.
But I think he needed it right now. But I mean, like, if you look at Joe Biden's history, it's full of this kind of stuff, man. He's the guy who, like,
remarks
like gaffes or just all kinds of stuff, right? His history is full of this stuff, right? He got caught up in. So Joe Biden was standing for president first in 1988. He got caught up in a plagiarism scandal at that point in time, where apparently some parts of his speech were lifted or inspired by somebody else's speeches. When he was Biden's vice president, he would say shit like all the time, right? He was considered the George W. Bush of like the Obama administration, right? He'll just like he'll just say something, right? There's a reasonably well-known American political scientist by the name of Michael Kinsley, and he's also a well-known writer for like a bunch of news magazines, like he writes editorials and stuff like that. And and basically it's called the Kinsley definition of a gaffe, right? A political gaffe is basically when you say the truth when everybody is expecting you to lie, is a political gaffe, right? And basically Joe Biden has made an entire career full of these kinds of things.
But this time it worked for him.
When you tell the truth, when people are expecting you to lie.
When you're in politics, you're not expected to tell the truth about certain things, right? I mean,
or marriage,
or
marketing. in most lines, actually, even medical. I mean, which doctor tells you the actual truth? Oh God.
Yeah, you have to say best product, even if yours is not the best product. You're right.
Yeah. So let's face it. Let's embrace lying. We've learned a valuable lesson here today. Starts with the most powerful man in the world, who abused, well, he didn't lie actually, he was honest today. Today he was honest. Yeah. Okay, guys, should we go to the AMAs?
Yes, absolutely. We have quite a few AMAs.
You want to do one more?
No, we have a great topic, but we could save it for Monday also. I think it'll still apply for Monday also. So we'll save it. No problem. Let's go to the AMAs because we have a lot of AMAs to get to.
Let's tease the topic because Monday the Wi-Fi will work really.
Then we might as well, if we tease it, then we might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
If we tease it, then we might as well talk about it.
Yeah, we can tease it. Let's try a little teaser. We've never done a teaser. I think it's been.
You know why I want to tease it? Because if we don't end up doing it, that's another slap on the face from our side. So come on. And let's be honest, 50% chance we won't do it. 50%.
We won't do it.
Okay, let's tease it. Look, these guys, I mean, this podcast is the most dangerous thing to ever do in your life. They remember ending of 2 weeks or 1 week back when we mentioned that we'll do Virat Kohli as a special thing. This is a long conversation. And Akshay, being petty and small-minded like we are, has gone into minded us. So it's good. So he'll go in the back corner with all the things we have to do list.
So this tease, which we may or may not cover ever again, is he's already teased Vikram Singh. Okay. Neil Young has basically asked Spotify to take down his entire discography. That's the tease. We don't know why, which we kind of do, but we will find out.
We know why, but we do it on Monday.
We know why, but that's the tease. That's the tease. Yeah.
Find out why after this weekend.
After this on Monday. Yes.
Finally, the three wise men finally come up with the right line. Thanks to Amit. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Stay with us. Stay tuned.
Yes, absolutely. All right, AMAs.
I love those episodes if you end with "and the murderer is," and it stops.
Yeah, the next episode, correct. Yeah.
Want to kill somebody when I see that kind of thing happen.
Yes.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
The first AMA question comes in from PSJP3000. He says, I saw the old Pepsi ad with Cyrus in it, which has the famous line, Mera number kab aayega? I didn't realize Cyrus was there in it. Amazing stuff. Do you guys remember this ad? It was very popular, this campaign. And it's still, the line is still used, by the way, till today.
Yeah. It's folklore, the line. Yeah, it's a very catchy line to use, especially in Mumbai.
Absolutely, yeah.
God, it's a life story. Yeah. So we shot a lot of those, maybe 6-7 of them.
Yeah, I seem to remember watching them relatively recently. Sorry?
Really?
So I was in contract with Pepsi for over 3 years, by the way, guys. And I used to get Pepsi. I was the only, because they told me, the truck driver told me, he was a Sardar, lovely guy. He said, sir, sirf aap order karte hain. Out of all the guys on their list of people who endorsed the product from North, South, East, West, I was the only guy who actually in the contract looked it up and said, I'm entitled to a crate of Pepsi every week. So every week, all my neighbors would come and take stuff because my mother was getting mad because the pile up of cold drinks. They'd be lying in the living room, there was no place to store them. So she would get really angry. So at one time, if they weren't consuming 30-40 bottles. These are all bottles, bottle glass.
Oh yeah, these are glass bottles. This is before PET bottles even existed, right?
Yeah, they may have existed, but this is what they would give me. Yeah, I couldn't quite order exactly what I wanted because I preferred Mirinda to the Coke, etc., Pepsi. experience. But anyway, long story short, I was that cheap. That was the only guy on their roster who actually took up the thing. Of course,
I take up
subsequently, I don't know, because really cheap celebrities have endorsed it as well. So yeah, it's possible that we started a trend. Yeah, but it was so it was a very popular ad, and I remember how popular it was because we went drinking after release to Chicken Center, and somebody came up and this guy, lower class income guy, came and asked for an autograph, and I thought I was really telling Kunal, so he watches MTV and all, that's great. And then he turned around and said, "नहीं वो ad देखा." He heard us talking to ad देखा आपका ad मेरे नाम कब आएगा. So the power of ad in the 90s, 2000s was so much more than television, right? Amit, would you say?
Yeah, 100%.
Because everybody watched the whole country watched the same ads.
So like one, it was cricket, right? I mean, like at that point in time, cricket in this was 2001 World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, or 99 World Cup or something like that. These ads came during the World Cup, right?
Yeah, 99 World Cup.
Was the World Cup in 99?
This is after 99. Because, oh no, you're right. 99, 2000, 2001, correct.
Yeah.
I 2002, I was under contract. So 3 years.
Okay, yeah. So it feels like that, right? At that point in time, I feel like the World Cups, like back then, were more important than the World Cups are today, right? Just in terms of the percentage of people who are watching it. Right, like today, the people who are still really into cricket are obviously watching it.
No, but I just think it was easier if ads were big, they would go across the country. Okay, now it's very difficult to find ads that go across the country. So structured in such a way that you hit different markets. But there was just one television basically.
Pepsi used to have some very fun ads also.
We had fewer channels also back then, right? Compared to what you have today, there were fewer channels.
In Sri Lanka.
Yeah. So that also is part of it.
I went to Sri Lanka for a holiday. Yeah. It was just dubbed in Sinhalese. It was in Sri Lanka. And posters were up and all that. So I was getting recognized everywhere. It was lovely.
That makes sense because, again, I think a lot of
once you get recognized outside your country, then it really goes to your head. And Sri Lanka is a lovely place. I wanted to settle down. Of course, the next time I went there 2 years later, nobody knew who I was because that ad was gone. That was it.
You guys remember the Oye Bubbly ad campaign, which had like all those other actors' voices? Amitabh Bachchan was singing part of it. I remember Sachin also was in, his voice was in it. Oye Bubbly, Aja Bubbly.
Oh, yeah. So that's
get in a car. Yeah. What?
So you know who replaced me in Pepsi after 3 years of being brand ambassador? And you can check this historically.
Sachin?
This actor called Amitabh Bachchan.
You can't go say to that.
Now they think of that.
Yeah.
Well, what can you say to that, right? I mean, like, dude, if you get replaced by Amitabh Bachchan, I think you just gotta deal with it. Just accept
true. But I thought they were going more youth, because the whole thing is a youth brand. So as you age, sort of, they go a younger guy. I think you're older guy. Why can't they retain me then for a couple of years? Because frankly, I'm a bit younger than Amitabh Bachchan.
In 2002, you were not aging. What were you in 2002? You were 25, right?
I've been old for a long time, Amit Doshi. Thanks for that. That was nice of you. But I did an ad with him for Pepsi. We did one ad together. Hey, koi jawab, stuck in a lift. So we spent half a day together in a lift.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Gave them enough years that they could afford me. Yes, Aditya. Spot on. You are a message of the day. You get a special hamper from Amit and Silverie, which will reach you circa 2023 early. Okay, sorry. Let's take the...
Yeah. A few more, yes. Pradeep Pillai says, as we celebrated Republic Day, I was wondering why, as a citizen, it is difficult to find a copy of the Indian Constitution of India, of the Indian Constitution. Government doesn't provide it as gratis, not even at Sarkari offices. Why is that?
Great point.
But do you not get it online? I just always assume you can find it online if you want to.
You can probably Google something.
It's a fairly short constitution. Am I not mistaken in that?
It begins with the lines, "We the people of India." That I remember. After that, my memory fades.
Then there was that whole socialist, secular, democratic republic.
To constitute India into a sovereign, secular, socialist republic where everyone is sort of equal. That was the premise. Can't blame the constitution.
So I'm looking it up. And it says it's a 65 rupees Kindle edition, the Constitution of India, or the paperback is $500.
Or you can download it from the legislative.gov.in website for free, which is what I did.
Oh, okay.
Just like right now. But it's long. It's 402 pages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it really that long?
But is there a version for the slow reader which has pictures and stuff?
There is no pictures.
Okay, so I guess, but I mean, like, if it's 400 pages, I think that's your answer as to why you don't get it for free. 400 pages is an expensive print.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, Pradeep is a regular listener, so let's do one thing. why can't IBM pay for this 65 rupee version and we can send
I
it to
will
him?
give him a printout for sure.
I think we should, because obviously his sincerity cannot be questioned. His love for the country and the fact that he wants to have a copy with him. It's only US Constitution can be carried in the pocket. What does that mean? As in, we're not allowed to carry the Constitution? Who says that? Why can't you carry the Constitution? Oh, you mean the size? He means the size.
Yeah. They have like a
relatively
pocket
short.
size. Yeah.
Relatively short, right? But I mean, this is really wrong, right? Somebody's saying I think I'm talking about the preamble, which I think is probably correct. Yeah. So even what you're discussing is the preamble.
The preamble is just one page.
Now let me explain the word preamble to Silverie.
I know preamble.
Preamble. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I get it.
So 402 pages, huh? Bro, you got to, I mean, are you really going to read it then? I mean,
that's a question, right? I mean, like, but it's got, it's got so much. The thing is, though, I'm just looking at it right now, and it's got so much stuff in there, right? There are laws for different states. There's a third schedule, which has Bangladesh in it. 12th schedule talks about urban and town planning. There's just a lot of stuff in it.
Oh, right, because 71 onwards, we have another country.
Correct. Yeah. So the preamble is literally this, okay? And again, I just downloaded it from the same site. The Constitution of India, we the people of India, having solemnly having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. We do hereby give to ourselves this Constitution, which is then 400 pages long.
It's all coming back to me. Yeah. So after the preamble, you're supposed to say, okay, I accept the Constitution. We're going through it. It's going to take a long time. But what we can do for Pradeep is we'll send the preamble. Let's send two copies of the preamble, because we can't send the whole book. So as a compensate for that, we send 2 copies. Is that fair?
Sure, absolutely.
And $65 is for what? Just the preamble, or because it sounds unfair.
It's for the Kindle version. It's for the ebook Kindle version, but that's on Amazon. If you're able to find it on free, then
isn't it against the Constitution to alter the Constitution even in edit form, in a sense?
I'm sure you can publish it, right?
It's constitutionally wrong to do that.
I think you're allowed to publish government documents. Like, for example, if I'm not mistaken, you're allowed to publish old IAS exams and stuff like that.
Pradeep is going mad. He's not able to get on with dinner or anything else. We need to help him. We have to send the full copy, 400 pages. He's demanding it now, like a spoiled errand child. And we owe it to him. He's a regular. Silverie, can we cut it from your pay?
Yeah, dude. I'll give it to him. You're not cut from my pay. I'll give it to him, man. Don't worry.
I thought you'd go for the Wi-Fi one immediately. It's not working. Coolio.
Okay. Should we go to the next one?
Next?
Yeah. Next one comes from Antonio Alvarez. He says, "Hey Cyrus, did alcohol connoisseurs irritate you during your drinking days? I mean, they get into the details of the region where the alcohol comes from and all. And I'm sure that can be quite...
It's not so much the connoisseur. It's just the pompous man who decides to, the way they begin the conversation, where I'm going to tell you about it sort of thing. It's not just to do with alcohol. My friend Quran is a bit like that. I believe, and
you cannot drink wine unless you decant it. Those people, right? How can you drink wine if you do not decant it? Those people annoy the crap out of me.
But have you heard? On the other hand, I love people who are filled with information. If they're telling you things, it's great to hear. If they're passionate about wine and they're talking about it, sometimes it can be great fun also. But there's a difference between the guy who's doing it just for effect, so that he can validate himself above you and others in a social setting. That's not fun. I used to do that with porn, but now it's so much porn. It's no longer an encyclopedia. I used to be great. In the VHS days, the guys would call me. I was like the Google. Brocha, I want this one. Boom, I give them names, numbers, everything. And now it's become so big, it's ridiculous. I mean, so many. By the time the day is over, I haven't made up my mind. Amit, are you still there? We've digressed.
We lost you. We lost you in the middle of your porn soliloquy. We lost you.
So, by the way, do you guys know that apparently wine connoisseurs are just full of shit? Because I've seen there are multiple videos where you can watch this, where the wine connoisseurs, right, they get like a series of wine connoisseurs and they make them taste different kinds of wine, ranging from like regular port wine to the most expensive wines you can probably get in the world. Okay, and after a certain point, all the wines feel kind of the same after like a certain price mark, and that price mark is reached like within like less than 1,000 rupees. After that, it's all wine that it's all interchangeable, and they're all saying, "Oh, this one is great. but turned out it was like just cheap wine. When some person hated like $1,000 wine or something, like, oh, this is shit wine. How can you even make me drink this? So they're all kind of.
Wine is like that, but vodka's like that. More than wine, vodka's like that. Yeah. So vodka, once you get past the absolute level, right, in terms of cost, all vodka is the same. There's no difference between Absolute and Belvedere and all the rest of them. They're all the same. Even though Belvedere is literally 4 times the price of Absolute, but it's the exact same vodka. So I think
I once went on a date with a wine connoisseur. Like, that was her job to be a wine taster. And she would get employed by restaurants to choose their wine catalogs. It's like a very cool job to have in a way. But of course, you have to be really careful. You can't smoke and all because it affects your palate. You can't. There's like a lot of things that you can't do, like health-wise, just to have your palate clear. So that is there, yeah. But it's a cool, interesting job to have. I think.
So I think we've lost Cyrus, but I think we're also at the end of our show. So I think we could just end it now at this point.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, guys, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like it on YouTube, subscribe, do all the rest of that shit, and also. Stay tuned for Ritasha and Ayushi. They're coming up at 8 o'clock. It's on a different YouTube channel. It's on the IVM podcast channel, but definitely do check that out. I hope you enjoyed that.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you. We need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Love fighting?
We've got you covered.
Check out our show, The Fighting Goat, where we, the voices of the internet, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra, bring to you crazy weekly action on your favorite combat show, The Fighting Goat.
Be it commentary, breakdown, predictions, analysis of styles and techniques.
And of course, your round of favorite fighters.
You can listen to us every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, and all major podcast streaming platforms.
Are you looking for finance products and services that can enhance your personal finance experience? Are you looking for a space to talk about your financial product or service? And are you looking for a crisp talk show where the conversation is all about money? Well, your search ends here. Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta and I'm host of the Paisa podcast, and I invite you for the conversation about your personal finance on each Monday on the IVM Podcast app or the website or on any podcast streaming platforms. See you folks.